good morning, or good afternoon, or wherever you are. How are you? Today, I'm going to talk about clarity killers. You know, clarity. The word clarity just is so pure for me. Clarity is the foundation of success. Without it, we're stuck spinning our wheels, making the same mistakes, and wondering why we're not where we want to be. In this episode, I'm calling out 5 major clarity killers that I've identified that might be sabotaging your progress. And of course, hopefully, how to overcome them. So, in these 5 clarity killers, I'm going to start with a problem. I'm going to tell you the impact, and then I'm going to tell you the solution because you know me, I like to be all about action, all about fixing or doing, not thinking and obsessing and getting to it, or I'd like to, or I hope to. Hope is for suckers, action is for winners. So let's go through this problem, impact, solution, shall we? The first clarity killer, as I see it, is overthinking. Oh, yes, the old paralysis by analysis. You constantly questioning every decision you make. And then what is the impact to your life? Well, you're stuck in indecision, you're wasting time, and you're creating unnecessary stress. So, how do you fix the overthinking thing? You basically have to be comfortable with the concept that progress is better than perfection. Because if you wait for perfection, you'll never get out of the house. You'll never get out of bed. You'll never do anything because life isn't perfect. It's lumpy and it's bumpy, and everything that you do. And I always like to say 95% great is better than 100% late. And that even goes for 85% great is better than 100% late. Michael Jordan said, I took X number of shots to get X number of shots, and that created a Hall of Fame. Think about the guys that are play baseball. Hall of Famer basically hits 3 out of 10 at bats. So you know what? That's what you got to get. You got to get that progress over perfection. That's the mindset that you should be adopting to move forward with the confidence that you need. You know, if you're searching for perfection, and it ain't this world. It just ain't. The older I've gotten, the more I've been comfortable with the, 80%, 85% great is better than 100% late. And it is true. I've had clients obsessing over logos and colors and, lines and shapes and whatever. And I'm like, listen, fundamentally, is this decision that you are obsessing over going to yield you more or less customers or clients or members or engaged audiences? The answer is no, absolutely not. The minutia that we spend our calories on is redonkulous. So stop doing that and look at the bigger picture. Get out from under the weeds, look up and go, okay, I'm overthinking. That's clarity killer number 1. Clarity killer number 2 is people pleasing. That's a real big one for women too. Like, you just say yes to everybody else's priorities, and then you're burnt out and you got no time for yourself. And then you lose, what's the impact? You lose energy or focus for the things that you want to do, the things that matter most to you. So, people pleasing, that's a good one. Well, remember what I always say, if you think you have to go to Aunt Susie's daughter's bridal shower that you haven't seen in 25 years, then God bless you. But I don't think you do. The word no is okay. It protects your yeses. God bless Robin Arzon, who I love from Peloton. She says it too. It's, look, you got to say no in order to get to yes on the other side of your calendar. And you know how vigilant I am about my calendar and the color coding and the categories. So think about the things that you've done in the recent past where you've basically tried to people please and you've said yes to somebody that really shouldn't have gotten a yes from you. So think about your time. You only get the same amount. We all get the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day, 365 a year. You get the idea. Okay, fine. So let's do an inventory. Where have we said yes that we shouldn't say yes? Make a mental note of it. Don't do it again. Or if you can, reverse engineer that commitment. See if you can delegate it, give it away, say no, change your mind. Push it back to next year, push it back to never, whatever. The point is, people pleasing doesn't serve you if it doesn't serve you. So if it pleases you and it pleases people, bless you. That's a beautiful combination. But if it only is about somebody else, doesn't serve you. So define your non-negotiables and practice setting boundaries and saying no to the distractions or the commitments that other people have for you that don't serve you. Clarity killer number 3, disorganization. Oh, this is one of my favorites. What's the problem? You lack structure, you lack clear schedules, you have no clear plan. You're what I would call a twig in the proverbial river, and it just goes downstream. However the river wants to take it, the little twig goes. Are you a twig or are you the river current? Are you deciding where you want to go or are you letting life take you wherever it goes? If it's the latter, you got to get in front of it, right? So let's make sure you're as organized as you can be. Write stuff into your calendar. Travel time, kids' obligations, parental obligations or spousal obligations or health obligations, whatever. It needs to be recorded in your calendar so that you see exactly what you're dealing with. Your commitments to work projects. Don't just take meetings and say, oh, I'm free Thursday afternoon. I've got 4 hours open. No, those 4 hours should have been protected to do the work that you need to deliver for Friday. But if you don't protect your calendar, guess what happens on Thursday night? You look at your calendar, you've accepted 3 meetings that you shouldn't have accepted, could have pushed them back to next week. And because you said yes, now you're going to be up against it and you're working all night on Thursday to deliver the presentation you promised your boss you would have on Friday. Or you don't deliver it, which is even worse. So let's get organized. Let's be predictable. Let's have some structure in our schedules and our calendars. You got to create systems, time blocking, task batching, a journal to organize your thoughts and tasks, whatever it takes. You need some tools surrounding you and supporting you so that you don't show up disorganized. Okay. Clarity killer number 4, comparison. Oh, joy sucker. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you're wasting your effing time. Like, really? Why? Why? Why are you constantly measuring yourself up against other people? And this happens especially on social media. As my friend Karen likes to say, the compare and despair culture. Give it up. Nobody benefits. If you scroll and you feel good about the images that you have on your feed and they're inspirational and they're beautiful pictures of travel or whatever, that's great. But if you are scrolling and you are looking at other people and it's giving you anxiety or it's giving you some twinge of like unhappiness, don't effing do it. Don't effing do it. Why would you put yourself in a position to be miserable? Don't expose yourself to content that makes you feel less than. Focus inward, not outward. That's the problem. The impact is an erosion of confidence and your lack of alignment on your goals because you're worried about what Susie did. Don't freaking worry about it. That's like me comparing myself to Mel Robbins. I love Mel Robbins. I think she's amazing. She's one of the people I look up to, but I don't feel bad when I look at her stuff. I feel inspired. This is a woman that had a phenomenal path. I think she's awesome. She's smart. She has figured out a bunch of things. I can learn from her, but at no point in time should I feel bad about myself because I'm not her. We're not each other. It's not the same. We have different goals, different objectives, but yes, she is a super coach. Fabulous. I love her. But if I was feeling bad when I was exposing myself to her content, I wouldn't do it. You either need to be inspired or you shouldn't consume it. If you have a choice, for God's sake, just don't compare yourself. And also, and I know that the things that you see online are not always the truth. You know exactly the family that's constantly posting pictures of how perfect they are dysfunctional. You and I both know a family like that. Why do you do it? If you know it, don't do it, right? Like, stop. So shift inside, reflect on your own progress, define success that you want to have on your own terms, and stop comparing yourself. All right? It doesn't serve you. Clarity killer number 5, fear of failure. Okay. I think I had a couple head nods there. Avoiding risks or doing new things because you're fearing making mistakes. No. If you don't make a mistake, you haven't learned anything. It's sort of like what I say about imposter syndrome. Remember, if you don't have some twinge of imposter syndrome, you're probably not stretching yourself. You're probably not learning. You're probably not really reaching your max. So don't the impact of fear of failure is that you stay stagnant and you miss out on the potential growth that you might have as a human, as an executive, as a woman, as a wife, as a mom, anything in your life. So the solution is that you need to remember that failure is a feedback mechanism. It's a way to tell you, no, that's not the right path. Maybe shift a little to the left, a little to the right. You'll need to learn to use failure as an opportunity to pivot or do something a little bit differently so that you can grow, right? So failure is not in and of itself a bad thing. It's how you contextualize the failure that is the problem. If you see it as binary, I failed, therefore I should never try again, that's a problem. But if you see it as, oh, that's a failure, oops, I need to rethink the business model. I need to rethink my relationship. I need to make sure I set boundaries for this, this, and this because that failed. I don't want to do it again. If we learn from our mistakes, that's one thing. But if we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, or not trying anything at all and sitting on our couches all day, that's a problem. So let me bring it all back together, okay? What are the clarity killers? 1, overthinking. 2, people pleasing. 3, disorganization. 4, comparison. 5, fear of failure. Okay. I've said a little bit about the problems, the impact, and the solutions of all of these 5 failures. I think that it's given, hopefully you can think about that. The idea is that clarity comes from intentionality, focus, and taking small actions. Remember, anything is possible with intention, planning, and action. Are you sick of hearing me say that? Probably not. So here are my final words. Clarity isn't something you stumble on. It's something you create. By identifying and overcoming those clarity killers, you'll find yourself moving through life with more confidence, power, and purpose. So, which clarity killer will you tackle first? Remember, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. Tackle these one at a time. I encourage you to download Monique's Vision Board Guide for additional clarity tools. You can find them on my website, moniquedemaio.com. And I'd like you to share some of your own clarity breakthroughs on social media and tag me. All right? Thanks so much for listening. It's been fun. Make it a great day. Bye.